Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. For this tutorial I wanted to bring back a once very popular stitch, the daisy chain. Now, if you've been beading for a long time, you might have already done this stitch, but if you're a new beader, you probably haven't even seen this yet. So there are several different variations of the daisy chain. This one is the most complex because it's not just flowers, or a flower, then a strand of seed bead and a flower, but it's a flower and then the green leaf in between each flower going along. This here is also a daisy chain. The white beads are actually the yellow beads in this here. So if you're not crazy about flowers, you can also do this stitch with different colors and it doesn't even look like flowers. So I wanted to let you guys know that in the past, everyone has always used 11 seed beads for this stitch, but you do not have to strictly stick to 11s. You can use 11s, 8s, or 6s. I wouldn't use 15s though because they are too small and you wouldn't be able to pass through them so many times. And another thing I wanted to let you know is that this here is the original classic stitch of the daisy chain. But for this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make the stitch, and then I'm going to show you how to fill in the gaps to make it more sturdier, like in my ring. In my ring here, the gaps are filled, so the stitch is more sturdier. It is very flexible, like this, which isn't a bad thing. If you want, you can not do what I'm going to do, and you can leave it plain, just like this, or you can fill it in. Now, if you want it as a necklace, then I would recommend not filling it in. You would leave it like this, because you need it to bend and stuff around your neck. But if you want it as a bracelet or an anklet, you might want to fill it in like I did in my ring, so it's more durable. You can handle more wear because the string is passed around here on the top and on the bottom another time, so it makes it really durable. So here's the things you're going to need to make this. Here are the materials you're going to need to make a bracelet or an anklet and even a ring. So for bracelet, you will need 5 feet of 6-pound test Fireline. For an anklet, you will need 6.5 feet of 6-pound test Fireline. For a ring, you will need 2.5 feet of 6-pound test Fireline. And if you want a necklace, I'm not totally sure, but like I said, if you want to skip adding the seed beads to make a necklace, you could possibly try with 6.5 feet to see if you get that long, because I leave about a 5 to 6 inch tail, and then I have about 2 extra feet of thread that's extra that I'm going to weave back in to fill in the gaps, so you might get away with 6.5 feet for a necklace. Not totally sure, so if it works out for you, let me know. Now, for the beads, you can use 11s, 8s, and 6s, like I said. And for the clasp, I'm going to do a lobster claw clasp, and you can either have jump rings with it or split rings. These are split rings. It's just like a keychain ring where they open up. These are very durable. They don't just fall off. Like sometimes with a jump ring, your bracelet, it could slip, the thread could slip through the jump ring and it could fall off. I've had that happen to me before. So that's the materials you need to make this. I'm going to be demonstrating how to make this with 6 seed beads because they're so much larger and easier to see. Now, this here, the first stitch, is a flower. So I'm going to show you how to make that, and my colors here is what I'm going to do is I have an orange flower, a blue flower, a red flower, and I'll have yellow inside of them, and green is my leaves. The first thing I'm going to do is pick up 4 petal beads, and then the center of my flower, and slide that down. And leave about a 5 to 6 inch tail. Now go through this first bead, just like this. So now we should have this. Now we have to finish this flower and pick up 2 orange seed beads. And I'm going to go through this bead right here. And now we have one flower. So make sure that you have your tail pointing down and that your working string is pointing up. And we're going to pick up a leaf bead, and then a petal bead, blue, and then a leaf bead. And we're going to go down the second orange seed bead right here. And tighten up the work. So now we have this. Now I'm going to pick up a leaf bead and another petal bead, blue. And I'm going to go through this blue petal bead here in this direction. Tighten your string, and I found that if you tighten your string going this way, it really helps. Instead of pulling it this way, it kind of makes it loosen up more. So now we have to add more to this flower, and I'm going to pick up 2 blue seed beads and a yellow and go down through this blue seed bead. And now we have 4 petal beads, and we have our yellow bead. So because there are 6 petals in each flower, this means that we have to pick up 2 more petal beads and go up through the bottom of this seed bead. And now we have this flower. So again, we're now between the flowers, and we have to add some more leaf beads. So I'm going to pick up a green bead, and my next color is red, and then green again. And because I'm exiting out the bottom here, I'm going to go up to the bottom of this petal bead. And now I have to pick up another green and a red, and I'm going to go down to the bottom, or to the top, I mean, of this red seed bead. Now we have to do more to the flower. We have to pick up 2 more reds and a yellow. And I'm going to go to this bead. And now we have 4 petals again, and I need 2 more. So pick 2 more seed beads up and go down through this red petal bead. And again, a green. Then I'm going to start over with orange and a green. And I'm going to take and go up to the bottom of this petal bead. Tighten it up. And I'm going to pick up another green, an orange, and go down to this orange. And now we have to do more to the flower. So I'm going to pick up 2 orange petal beads, a yellow center, and go in this direction, this petal bead. Now I have to pick up 2 more petal beads and go down to this one. Now I'm going to do blue. So I have to pick up a green, a blue, and a green, and go to the bottom of this orange bead. So we're constantly zigzagging. We're going up and down, up and down. So now I'm going to pick up a green and a blue, and I'm going back down. So the next stitch would be going up again. So I'm exiting out of these blue. I would pick up 2 more blue, a yellow, and I'm going to go back up. So now I have to pick up 2 more and go through this one. And you do have to pay attention, because if your string's pointing down and then you flip it, then you'd be going this way. And if it's up, then you're going up. So there's another flower. So now I'm going to pick up a green, and after blue comes red, and then green. I'm going down to this bottom blue, and then I'm going to pick up a green and a red and go through this red. Now red, red, yellow, and go down to this red. Now pick up 2 reds and go to this one. And pick up a green and an orange and a green and go down to this petal bead. Now a green and an orange, go up to this orange, tighten it, and now 2 oranges and a yellow, and go down to this orange. 2 more oranges to close the flower, up this orange, and now we have to make another flower. So green, blue, green, down through this flower. Green, blue, and up through this blue petal. And now I'm going to pick up 2 blues and a yellow and go down to this blue. And now 2 blues again to close the flower. Go up to this one. And then the next color is going to be red. So green, red, green. I'm going to go down, pick up a green and a red, go through this red, tighten it up, and I'm going to pick up 2 reds and a yellow and go down through this red, pick up 2 more reds and go through this red. And tighten it up. So keep doing this stitch until you get a bracelet or an anklet or a necklace, and I'll show you what to do when you get to that point. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to add the loops on the end so you can add your clasp, and then I'll show you how to fill it in. Now if you're going to be doing it just like this and not filling it in, you would just add your loop with your clasp and then you would tie your knots. And you would do the same on the tail end. So my string is exiting out of that C bead. I'm going to take and pick up 6 11 OC beads, or 8s or 6s or whatever you're doing. And then I'm going to take and pick up my clasp. Now my string's going in that direction, so I'm going to go in that direction again, just like that. Pull it through, and now we should have this. Now if you're using split rings, you're going to want to add them like this, but if you're using jump rings, you can just open them up. Now I'm exiting and open them up and add them on. I'm exiting out of this seed bead here, and I'm going to go through that seed bead, the next one. Pull it through, and now we have this. So now we're going to fill in all these gaps, make sure it's tight, right here in the side with one seed bead in between each gap. So pick up one seed bead and go through this seed bead here and pull it through just like that. Pick up another seed bead and go through this one, the red seed bead. Pick up another seed bead and go through this green one. It's pretty simple filling it in. Pick up another, and I'm going to go through this blue one. I'm going to pick up another one and go through this green one. Pick up another and go through the red. Pick up another and go through this green. So it's pretty easy. We're going to be picking up one seed bead at a time and going through each of these beads, filling in the gaps. So do this all the way till you get to the other end of your bracelet or anklet. I kept on going my stitch, and I filled in the whole bottom, and I am now exiting out this bead with this string. So this was my working string, and now I'm going to take my tail and put a needle on it, and my tail was 5 or 6 inches long, and I'm going to pick up 6 seed beads, and then I'm going to pick up the split ring, the other end of my clasp. And I'm going to go through these 2 seed beads here. Just like that. And I'm going to take and go down to the bottom of this one. Just like that. And now I'm going to leave it like that and take my tail off. My needle off my tail. Leave it just like this, and now I'm going to start working with this tail again. I'm now back with my original string, and I'm going to be filling in here and going through this and picking up another bead and going through the blue one. So just like that's how it looks. Pick up one seed bead and go through all 6 of these seed beads and the split ring. Go through these 2. And the third one, I'm just reinforcing it, and I'll pick up a seed bead, and I'm going to go through this blue one. I got caught. So now it should look like this. The adding of the seed bead here and here, we're also going to do this at the other end when I get this string all the way back to the other side. So pull both of your strings, and it should look like this. So now that we are exiting out of this blue bead, right here, I'm going to hide my tail string away in my left hand, and we're going to fill in all these beads again on the side. I'm going to pick up another 11, go through this bead, another 11, through the red bead, another 11, through this green bead, another 11 through the blue, another 11 through this green, another 11 through the red, another 11 through this green, another one through this blue. Keep going, filling in this side, and when you get all the way to the other end, I'll show you what to do. So I went all the way around and I went through all those beads, and I'm now exiting out of this blue seed bead in my last flower, and I wanted to show you guys and tell you about the tension on this bracelet or ankle bracelet. See how it's pretty straight right now? That's because it's loosened the way it should be. But if you tighten your working string, tighten it as much as you can, it will do this. It's not straight. So you have to make sure that before you knot it, that you get it to be nice and straight, because if you go to wear it, it's going to be too stiff. So grab each end and slowly pull it and straighten it out. Just like that. Now don't pull it too much, because then you'll stretch it out way too much. So right now it's a good tension. So now I'm going to show you how to close this up. So like I said, I'm exiting out of that petal bead there. I'm going to pick up one green seed bead, and I'm going to go through these 6 seed beads. Do 2 there, 2 there, these 2, pick up one more, and go through this green. And I'll actually go through a couple more. I'll go through a green and blue. Now you have finished the bracelet, and you have to tie half hitch knots. So again, before you tie it off, make sure that your tension is right and you stretch it out some, so it looks like this. So again, in every tutorial I do, I always do half hitch knots. So half hitch knot, if you haven't seen me do it yet, I'm going to go through there, the bottom of the seed bead, and I'm going to make a loop. I'm going to go through this once and tie it, pull it down. Make sure my tension's right, because I think I just pulled it too tight. Go through another seed bead, and cut my clasp, and do it again. Go underneath my work, make a loop, go through it. You can go through it once or twice, depends on how you want to. Pull it slow so it doesn't mess up. And now go through a couple more seed beads and tie another knot, and do like 5 or 6 knots, or as many as you want, and try to use up all your tail. A lot of people don't use up their tail, and I think that's crazy, because using it up, going through your work many times, really does make it stronger. And if you want a bracelet or an ankle bracelet, you're going to need it to be durable, especially since my sister, who I make ankle bracelets for, she wears them in the shower and at the beach, and it's a lot of wear and tear on them. So I use Fireline because it's very strong, and if you reinforce the bracelet as many times as you can, it doesn't fall off and it lasts longer. I hope that all of you enjoyed this stitch from the past. This used to be such a popular stitch. This one, like I said, is the most complex. The older ones that first came out that I remember was just a flower with a strand of seed beads and another flower, and then repeating the same thing over and over. I hope you guys really did like this stitch. If you're not a flowery person, like I said, you can have this like this. The yellow beads would be the centers. And I also thought that stripes, you could do stripes, because see how there's green here? You could do a blue, and then another stripe of green, a blue, stripe of green, blue, stripe of green. So it's 3 beads, 2 beads, 3 beads, 2 beads. So I haven't figured out how to do it yet with stripes, but I'm sure that you can if you practice. But you might want to do it with flowers first, so you can figure out how to do it with stripes if you want to do stripes. So again, I hope you guys like this. Show me what you make on Facebook. I can't wait to see it. And I'll see you sometime next week.